So we have the Citadel Tower here. There's two types of sheet in here. We've basically got sheet 1 of 2, which is kind of this one here. There's 2 of those, and then there's this single unique sheet here, which has got the stuff we only need 1 of. Okay, so what we're going to do first of all is we're just going to pop together the main tower part. Okay, so we're going to be building this guy here, and we're going to build this main the tower part, and then we're going to put this bit on top. So we'll start with that, and I'll pop out some wall parts. Okay, so I've got my walls here, and as you can see on here, we've got some cool little doors, and we've got some of these have got windows on them as well. You'll also notice that there's like a half door at the end of some of these walls, and this will allow you to basically build your tower in different configurations. So if you've got a tower here, you might be like, well, actually, I want 2 doors over here, or I want 3 doors on this level. I don't want any doors at the bottom, or I want to do whichever combination. We try to make it so you get as many combinations as you can on your towers, because you might want a wall coming out of here either side, and you might want access to the wall this way. And that will give you probably the most flexibility that we can do with one tower across 3 sheets. As it were. So it's entirely up to you how you want to kind of build that up. We've also got you get situations sometimes when you do a build and you end up with a door kind of like facing out where you wouldn't want a door because there's no wall there. And so on the sheets as well, we've got little blanking plates, which we've got just here. And you can see here we put a blanking plate here, put a little shield detail on it, and if we look inside, you can actually see that there's actually like a little door inside. So if you end up with a door in a position you don't want, you just pop a little blanking plate on it, and we just held that on with a little bit of blue tack. So you can remove it when you want to, have a different configuration, as it were. Okay, so I'm going to just build this with just, a random configuration, really, just so I can show you the construction, but you can have fun and decide, depending on your build, where you want everything to go. And you've got these cool little windows here as well, so I'm going to pop these open. Okay, so here's my 3 towers sections. They're already holding pretty good shape, but don't worry too much about the shape, because what we're going to do, we're going to pop the floors out for these, and when you clip it together, that kind of holds it into shape anyway. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the floors, and with the floors you'll notice there's 2 that have got a little trapdoor on them, like so, and we've got some which one which has got no trapdoor on it at all, as it were, which is this one here. You can flip this if you want a bit more of a dirtier texture. So this one's going to go basically at the bottom of your tower, and it will just kind of sit inside your tower when it's constructed. Like so. Okay. And that will become your ground floor, as it were. Now, what you're going to do, there's a couple of ways that you can build this. One, depending on whether you've got this as a kind of retail product or part of a Kickstarter, there's different clip ratios. But basically, the best and easiest way to build this is just to, at this next level here, is to put some T-clips on, and that's going to hold the 2 levels together. So I'm just going to put some T-clips on the corner of this. Don't push them all the way in yet. And then I'm going to clip that on top of the wall. There you go. So I've clipped that on top of the wall, and actually I did push my clips in a little bit too fast, had to pull them out a bit. And you want the floor to actually go inside the tower, so it's going to be inside the walls, in the same way as the floor when we put it on here was inside the bottom of the walls, like that. Okay, so you've got a floor inside, and this is going inside. Then when you grab your next level and you put it up, let's just line the doors up for ease. It means that this will go flush straight down to the bottom. like so. And that's the first level of your tower. And this floor here holds all of this together in shape really, really nicely. And then if you know, when gaming, you'll see in a second that you can lift off this top section, get access to here. And then when you're gaming as well, if you want to, you could lift off that and have, like, you know, a fight in that lower floor as well. Yes, you've got that. That's how that's done. And we're going to do the same for the next level again. We're going to put some clips on here. But this time what we're going to do is we're going to use these L clips, and again, not push them on too far, and we're going to pop this one here on top. Okay, so here's my top one, and now when we pop this on here, it just sits nice and sturdy on the top. And again, this is inside, the floor is actually inside the wall. It's actually kind of, yeah, it's not protruding out the bottom or anything. It's completely flush. And that gives you this really, really solid tower, you know, and it's got some really solid floors, and it goes on really, really nicely. So that's great. And remember, depending on how you are configuring your tower, you might want 3 doors at the bottom and have a door that comes out into the, you know, the battlefield side or something like that, in which case you would, you know, move this around a little bit. But this is, I like this. This is the best configuration, I think, for stability and access to the building. Okay, so basically you have the main tower part of the structure. All we really need to do now is to build the little rampart that actually goes on the top, which is really cool. So I'm going to grab that. Before I do, I'll just mention that as usual, we've got our little ladders. And although these are on the dedicated scatter video, this is just a completely ordinary ladder. But these two here, they're very slightly different from the normal ladders in the fact that they have got they've got this little hook on the top of here. And what that does, it hooks into the, and there's a couple of those, one for each level. It just gives you that ability to, you know, use any of the holes that are not being used here to kind of have a ladder up to different sections, as it were. So you could put that one in here. You'll see these V slots here, which are used for the rampart. They're not used when they're in other locations, so you could have a ladder in there which leads up to this trapdoor, and so on and so forth. And then this one here will just go inside on the top to get to your rampart if you want to use that. But anyway, yeah, so there's that part of your tower. Let's build the top part. I'm going to pop those parts out now. Okay, so here's our parts for the rampart. Very simple. You've got your top decking or walkway, whatever, and your two surrounding, I can never remember the names of these, crenulations, is it? And then you've got the clips to assemble it together. And really, with these half cuts, all you're going to do is you're going to bend this round, and then line up these slots here with the slots on your top walkway, and do the same the other side using these clips to slot it on. So we're going to start by slotting the clips onto this part here. You'll need to get these clips around the right way, so you'll notice that there's a slot here that's surrounded by wood, top and bottom, and then that way the stone texture faces outwards. So you want the wood to be the part that slots onto the top of this wall. And then you're going to want to make sure that you leave a little bit of room, so maybe don't push it in all the way, a bit like your plastic clips. So I'm going to do that now. And again, I've got this flush, just like with the towers, and once that's in place, you can add a little bit more pressure on these clips, just to kind of make sure the card comes home, or near as damn it. Okay, and then I'll do the same the other side. There you go, and that is a lovely fit. And that's what you're left with. You're left with this really nice looking rampart with these lovely crenulations around the top. And all you do is on the top of your building, you'll notice, on your tower, you'll notice that you've got these very large V slots, one of which we use for a ladder. They're not used down on these levels, but at the top of here. and you just line up the very large kind of open mouth slot there, and you just put those on top. Good. A little push down, and there you go. And that's your tower. That then gives you access to this level here, and you've then got access to this level here. And like I say, you can get access into the bottom as well just by lifting that up, and if you like, you know, just occupying the space of that floor tile at the bottom. The other way to do that, okay, if you've got some spare clips of the L clips, which depending on what sets you've got, you've normally got plenty of these, then what happens is, instead of putting T clips down here, you will use the L clips here as well, which gives you 3 levels of lift off. And that's what we did with this tower over here. So you've got access to the top in here, you've got access to this floor here, and you've also got access to this floor down here. Haven't actually got a floor tile in the bottom of this one. It does mean that this this bottom one is a little bit more flexible. Okay, got the floor tile in it, helps it a little bit, but it just means that you do get that access without lifting up the whole thing. It's entirely up to you how you want to build it. Just a couple of options basically. So, what have we got left on this sheet? Well, not enough. Not enough. Plenty. Not a lot, but plenty enough. So we've got a couple of these blanking plates, which allows you to knock off any of these doors we spoke about. We've got some fantastic little shield detail, and I do like to put them on these with a bit of blue tack when I'm blocking things off and that anyway. So that's really cool. And the last thing we've got on here, another shield over there, is we've got a set of steps here. Okay, which you can, I won't show you how to put those together, it's very simple, and it's on the dedicated scatter video. And what that does, grabbing my steps, is it just gives you a set of steps that you can use when you're kind of maybe getting access to an upper level of your building from the inside. I guess you don't want that on the outside because people will be storming into your castle, and you know it makes the whole of the rest of your wall completely pointless. But so yeah, so basically you get those set of stairs and you get those blanking plates as well, which is really cool. And that is your tower, a lovely sturdy piece of kit indeed.